Welcome everyone. Thank you again for being on time and respecting our agreement. So for the next couple minutes, we're just gonna go over pieces. So the first thing is, what is the distinction between finished versus complete for you particularly? Michelle? Finish. Okay, finish, you're done. Okay, complete. Hillary. Thank you. Nadine. Yassine. Thank you. So before we talk a little bit about the distinction between finished versus complete, let me give you a couple of examples to see the distinction that we make here at Returning to Spirit. So a couple months ago, I decided to repaint my living room. Actually, the color was really like a green, but not like a dark green that's beautiful, but like the shady greens, that I was seeing every day. So decided to take all of my decoration out of it, move away all of like the couch and sofas and everything. Started painting the first coat. I just to go with like a little beige, like I don't know if you guys like that matte beige between beige and maroon. Beautiful color. So I paint my wall, everywhere. Put the second coat again, and then let it dry. Looked around, I was like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. This is the color that I was looking for. So put back again my decorations, move everything, move where all the tapes, and then I'm sitting up. So because it was a job that I wanted to do for so many months, almost close to a year, I was like, let me do what we call in French pendaison cavalière. So when I'm hosting people, right, in my living room, so I have invited all my friends. So just an hour before everybody arrived, I see in that right top corner a shades of green. I completely missed one spot over there. So as my friends are coming up, everybody's get in, and then they were like, wow, Brenda, you finally did it. Good job, it looked beautiful. What do you think that I'm presented to? All I'm seeing is my right top corner. Because you see, I'm a perfectionist. I love doing the job all the way proper. So as the month go on, my living room is not even more space where I'm relaxed, because every single time I sit down to watch TV, because the TV is right there too, all I'm seeing is that right corner, top corner over there, with these greens still seeing it. So, am I complete with this? No. So that is the distinction that we bring forward and return to Spirit. So the job is finished. I have done painting, I have put it back, my decoration to the wall, but I'm incomplete with the job because there's still that top corner present for me. So let me give you another examples. My younger sister and I, we have like approximately 9 years of difference. So I help her in terms of like her growing up. So I'm her second mom, and we always have a joke to talk about it. So a month ago we had an argument where she said, anyway, you're not my mom and you should know your place as the sisters. Woof. Woof. That is so good. So 2 weeks ago we have a conversations and she's asking me to read her resumes and let her cover because she's gonna apply for this new job. What do you guys think I told her? Well, I told her that I'm not her mom and I should know my positions as the sisters, that forward she should do it herself. So where do you think I was present to? Because the argument has ended. It was like a month ago. But me right now, in marriage with my sisters, what am I hearing to? All I'm hearing is I'm not good enough for her. Might as well that she does her job herself. So with that, what do you keeps happening for me every time that we have a conversation with her? Yeah, the same argument within my head, right? So, but the conversations is finished because it happened in the past. It was a month ago. but all those emotions that I didn't say at that moment keep showing up every single time that she make a comment to me. And that is why we make a distinction between finish versus complete. Another perfect example for us to do is, let's talk a little bit about the Indian residential schools. So the last one closed in 1996, right? So we can all of us agree that it happens in the past. Okay. So are we finished? We can say we're finished, right? We're the last one closed in 1996. But are we complete with it? No. And that's correct, because the true for is when things that happen to us in the past and we don't deal with it at that moment, where do you think it show up? Here in the present. Perfect examples in terms of international schools. Now we see that there is more indigenous kids in the family services systems than there was ever in terms of the IRS. So in terms of the present right now, do you think we're present to the present right now in the relationship in terms of the residential schools, or are we present to the past? Well, yeah, because we're present with the past. We're talking about the impact of it. What will happen if we don't deal with it? In a sense, if we don't resolve them here right now in the present, where they will show up? They will show up in the future, correct? And that's what for us are returning to spirit. We talked that something that is not complete is an incompletion. And that we can do the same, anything that has happened to us and is not complete. Same thing in terms of the example that I gave you with my sisters. The argument, the yelling happened a month ago in the past. When she come back and have a conversation with me, what am I present to those feelings that I had during that argument? And if I don't reserve that what has happened, it will keep showing up at all the moments in my relationship with my sister. So this work of returning spirit that we're going to do, it is about breaking those cycles. It is about what we talk about the intergenerational trauma or the generational circle from the past, right? That every time that something will happen, we'll get triggered. And once get connected to the front of us, we get sent back again to the past, those real action. And then this is what sometimes, a preferred example is like taking a backpack and you're carrying it with you everywhere you go, but it's filled with stone, right? So you're carrying them everywhere you go, and then sometimes you're even passing them down to the generation. So that's where we're gonna take a moment and to review all of us together. Okay, so now that we have a little bit more better idea what is the distinction between finished versus complete here as a returning to spirit, I'm going to ask you to bring forward, take out your bookwork, right? I am going to ask you to prepare your book the way I have did it. So we're gonna have 16 questions. I'm gonna ask you to prepare the book, see?
Ooh.
Each question, 2 questions per page. So write down number 1 line, give yourself space to answers, number 2 line, okay? And you do that, so 2 questions per page. You do that until you arrive to 16 questions, okay? Let me give you time to do that. So the exercise that we're going to do is going to allow us to see where are those incompletions in my life, okay? So the way we're going to do that, now that you have prepared your book work, I'm going to read the questions once or twice, and I will have my trainer Rochelle write down the questions on the board for all of us. And then we will give you a few times, a minute or two, to answer each questions. And then we go to the second questions. If you don't have time to fill up all the questions, do not worry, you will have time to go back and answer all the questions. What's important is at least write down the questions and start answering it. And what we're going to do in terms of that is make sure that you are honest with yourself. As you saw in our altar, one of its 7 grams of the teaching is truth. So be true to yourself. This work is going to be for you. Nobody else is going to see the answer that you're preparing for unless you want to share them. But it's your work to bring forward. So with that said, when you're filling that up, don't judge it. It is what it is. There's nothing right or nothing wrong, bad or right. It is what it is. And make sure that you answer it in point form, initials or a name, but very much just go straight to the answers. Okay, any questions before we start? Seeing none, we can say the first questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So thank you very much, and thank you, Rochelle, for writing out those questions for us. So now the next part of this exercise, I'm gonna put you in a group of 3, and then from there, I'm going to ask you in a group, share what did you notice as you were answering those questions. Is there a comment, answers, and stuff like that? So share some of the insight that you have as you were responding to those 16 questions. So I'm gonna go around. And I will put you in group of 3. Group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and I'm gonna give you approximately 5 minutes to share, all of you, so make sure that everybody share for that. Thank you very much. So now I'm gonna invite you, all of you, to come back in a circle. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's have a little bit of sharing. So what was the experience answering some of those questions? Yeah, Rochelle, yeah. So the person keep coming up, okay. What else? The certain person keep, yeah, because sometimes as you connect it to incompletions, when you have an incompletion with that person may show up multiple times. When we answer like, who am I resentful for? Who am I afraid of? Or to whom I have lost trust? So, thank you for sharing. One of the key points to take away from this exercise is to understand that, as we mentioned earlier in the mornings, that sometimes what's in front of us is those practices that we have put in place to fix or to protect ourselves in terms of surviving. So sometimes we think, there's some of our experience that we think that we have to protect or to protect ourselves for us to continue to surviving. And those practices bring forward those incompletion in that sense. So what I mean by that is when you're connected to the spirit of who we are, or those areas of relationship between you, life of others, there are certain people and others that keep coming up, right? And those are connected to a specific incompletion or the specific event that keep showing up in that. So, and we'll dig a little bit more in terms of that. So before we finish this this exercise, may I have a volunteer? Okay, Rochelle, please stand in the middle. Okay. So maybe some of the incompletion that Rochelle may have is, like, for example, like me, with my sisters. Can somebody come up and stand right in front of Rochelle to present her argument with her sister? Okay, thank you very much. What other incompletion, Rochelle, that you may have? People or event? Oh, people are in Subway, right? They keep messing up your order, Rochelle. Yeah? Can I have somebody who present that? What other incompletions that may show up? Relationship with mom and dad. Yes, with grandparents. Okay, can you have somebody? And then what other incompletions? Yes, workplace. So, do you guys see Rochelle? No, right? Because she's surrounded by her incompletions. So, who are we in relationship with when we see Rochelle this moment? Yes, for incompletions, right? That's the thing, the bear. So Rochelle, what is your experience right now being surrounded by incompletions? Feeling small, no way of like breathing correctly. Yeah, they're kind of squeezing you. So let me ask everybody else, can you take one step forward, okay? One step forward. So if so everybody has taken one step forward. So Rochelle, what is your experience right now? Okay, more space, yeah, more connected to spiritual you are. So our work on returning to spirit, this is all it is about. It is important, as we talked about it earlier, to see what is some of those incompletions, those areas that you're disconnected with the spirit of who you are. And then it's about creating space, because now what are you? You have an opportunity to be in a better relationship with yourself, with others, and also with life. So that is where we, our Returning Spirit, we talked about that process. Okay. So earlier in the morning, one of the requirements that we talked about was choice. So you may not know what is exactly this workshop is going to be about or where we're going, but you're starting to have a sense of what is some of the area that we'll be discussing in. What is the depth that we will go into the process. So it is important for us returning to spirit to give you an opportunity to choose to continue and to stay with us, right? So this is your opportunity to see with you. We're going to be able to go to lunch. For those who are a little bit more confused, who want to have a dialogue, feel free to come to see with one of the trainers. And then there's no judgment for you in terms of staying or instead of leaving. It is giving you the power to decide to continue journeying with others, okay? If there is no more questions, we'll go to lunch and we'll be coming back at 1:05. Thank you.